Okay, I'm going to do something I didn't plan because we're ahead of time, which is not a bad thing. But let me kind of get an idea of who's in the room. So, also help you stretch a bit because we don't want to be sitting for too long, right? Yes, okay. Stand up if you're a teacher, classroom teacher. Yep. Awesome. Okay, perfect. All right, thank you. Sit down. Stand up if you're a senior leader. Senior leader, principal, director. Yep. Okay, interesting. Stand up if you're in IT. Okay. All right. Thank you. Stand up if you're a media specialist. No. Okay. Librarians. Did I miss anyone? Who's unclassified? No. Okay. Right. So, thank you for the introduction. The ClassVR team is really welcoming and amazing. And yes, they flew me all the way from far away from Beijing. I came in last night, and I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about our experience with using ClassVR, and just in general, more into how to integrate EdTech, any EdTech, in a meaningful way. Amelia and I, Amelia's going to talk to you a bit later. We kind of have a very clear divide that we didn't even plan, right? Just happened to be. So I'm going to be really focusing on consumption of content, and she's going to be showing you the creation of content side with regards to ClassVR. So hopefully, at the end of our parts, you'll have some ideas of how you can take it back to your context. Okay, so a little bit about me. I'm the Director of EdTech and Innovation at Dulwich College Beijing. I've been in Beijing for 14 years, and 8 of those now at DCB, and 4 of those in this role. This is my team. Okay, so I manage 3 people. 2 of them are learning technology coaches, and 1 is a media/film specialist. Okay, and I'm the top left one, if you didn't guess. What we do, we cover the entire college, so we're 1,600 kids. From nursery, from 3 years old, all the way to year 13, 18-year-olds. A lot of teachers, and we don't have any clear division, so we're all over the place. A day in my life could start in a year group meeting of year 4 in junior school, then I still teach, so I teach an IB class, then go to nursery, do some VR with them, and then go back to junior school. So it's amazing because you see the entire college. Okay, let's start. Please tell me there's no poll in the room. Is there a poll? No! Forgive me. It was a random name generator, okay? Okay, meet poll. This poll, okay? Every one of us have a poll. We know a poll, okay? Some of us may have been a poll, okay? Poll is the person who wants to use tech for the sake of using tech, okay? Poll buys those one of the 100 companies in China that now manufacture robotic dogs, right? Buy them and it looks amazing, and then realizes, oh, wait, you can't program them. Paul is the person who uses all their budget and then it sits on the shelf. Paul is the one who's running an interactive game in the middle of the lesson about a topic that the kids are not even learning. That's Paul, okay? This is what Paul's classroom looks like when Paul does VR, okay? I asked ChatGPT to come up with all the adjectives that are the opposite of meaningful and intentional, and that's the list, okay? And we've seen that, and I'm guilty, okay? So I'm gonna confess, right? At early stages of my role at DCB, I was really into like all the new stuff, right? Let's bring it in. Let's do AR, let's do VR. So we bought trolley class set of iPods, small ones, okay? Small iPods, and we bought, who remembers what this is called? Google Cardboard, very good. Okay, we bought Google Cardboard, but not the cardboard type, the plasticky thing. Black, ugly, breaks apart, but works really well. And we did AR and VR. At the time, you could do it still because you had all the apps open and you could watch the 360 VR videos on YouTube, which is now you can't do it on mobile anymore. We then went the next step and we bought tons of soft ones for our young kids because it's more comfortable. So we bought Merge Cube headsets and Merge Cubes. Then they changed their policy and now they're charging for everything. So now that sits on the shelf, right? So then I thought, okay, right, this is outdated, it's not working, I still want to do AR, I still want to do VR. Right, I had an okay budget, so I said, right, let's try, right? I'm not gonna go and commit all in. So I bought the Pico set and I bought an Oculus set, okay? And I tried them out. I'm like, oh, this is so fun. 3 days later, no one touched it for 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. Not once, okay? And the reasons are simple. It's hard to maintain on a scale. You can't scale it up. You need space, okay? You need almost a full-time person to take care of them, update them, install, and so on. Just not feasible. So this is my pole moment, okay? One of many. So how can we embed technology or plan with technology in a meaningful way, okay? I'm sure you've seen some of these at some point, right? There's so many different acronyms, approaches, what's the right word here? Frameworks for embedding technology in education, right? There are the 5 E's, the 3 E's, the 4 C's, and so on. And of course, you have the famous ISTE standards, you have the TIM framework, and so on and so on. There's so many of them that I've decided to add 4 more. So again, I went to ChatGPT and I said, make some more tech acronyms, make them very ridiculous, make sure you use the same letter for each word. Okay, which one do you like? You have the 4 F's, the 3 T's, the 3 B's, and the 5 P's. The 5 P's, right? Okay. And I mean, you can. It gave me more, but those were the ones I liked. Okay. And in the previous slide, I didn't even include the 2 famous ones, right? Everyone knows about the summer model, and hopefully, after today, everyone will know about the TPACK. Okay. Now, the TPACK model is not new. It's been around since 2006. Okay, but it's probably my favorite. Now, what I was trying to say is it doesn't matter what framework you're going to choose to go with, as long as you are intentional in thinking about how you integrate technology, you'll do well. Okay, now let's see if sound works. Instead of me talking at you, you'll have a 2-minute video explaining TPACK just in case if someone is not familiar with it.
Here's TPACK in 2 minutes. For more information, visit tpack.org. So first we have to ask, what is it? Well, TPACK is a framework that combines 3 knowledge areas: our technological knowledge, content knowledge, and our pedagogical knowledge. And it looks at how they work together to increase student motivation and to make the content more accessible to students. We look at the content as the what. It's the subject matter we're teaching, like ecology, music, algebra, health, geometry, or art history, to name a few. Then we look at our pedagogical knowledge. It's the how. Every teacher has tools, so let's put them to use. Are we going to be using direct instruction? Will this be inquiry-based, group discussions? How are we going to make the content more accessible by the way we present it to our students? Then we look at selecting the appropriate technology because it's the partner. What tool will we select to make the content more accessible to the students while supporting the pedagogical strategy which we've identified will help to deliver this information to students? We must identify those support features to really help us use technology to reach our outcome. As we understand them individually, we can start to see overlaps. Our TP knowledge allows us to understand how we're making the content more accessible. Our TC knowledge allows us to identify the affordances of pairing the appropriate technology to the content. And our PC knowledge allows us to identify the affordances of pairing the appropriate pedagogical strategies with the content. TPACK comes from the overlapping in that center spot, or as we refer to it as the sweet spot, when all three knowledge areas work together. It's crucial to remember that surrounding this is the context that's you and your students. This may look differently when you walk into classrooms because at the heart of TPACK is meeting students' needs.
All right, so do we understand the basics of TPACK? Yeah, perfect. I see very confident nod at the back. All right, we're going to put this new understanding into action now. All right, we're going to have a couple of examples where you're presented with 2 out of the 3. So I want you to spend about a minute talking to your table and coming up with an idea for what would be the third one to complement them. Okay, so first one, context is year 6 or grade 5 science class. Okay, the pedagogy you want to use is inquiry-based learning, and the content you're teaching is ecosystems and food chain. What technology would you use to complement them? So spend a minute, talk, and then I'll ask for some volunteers to share their answers. I don't have a fancy timer. So. Make your table talk, Amelia, come on.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I can't hear. Okay. As a good teacher, I'm not going to wait for volunteers. I'm going to volunteer. The YCIS table. The SCIS table, sorry. Yes.
We said, of course, ClassVR to access some examples of ecosystems, and then iPads for introducing like a presentation with an app that makes it fun.
How is that the inquiry based?
To discuss that.
There's no wrong answer. I'm just.
Kids do the research using it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're giving the iPad as a research tool.
Yeah, it'll be the research.
Okay. What are they doing with the VR headset?
They're looking at examples of ecosystems and different animals.
Free learning, right?
Yeah.
It's like a book or
yeah.
sorts. Okay. Cool. So looking at using VR maybe to experience the ecosystems first, then could drive them to switch over to the iPads and start searching for more information about it. Yeah, great answer. I have more, but I'm kind of trying to intertwine them with a bit of video, short clips that I filmed in the last couple of weeks at my school of kids, and I'll tell you the context of what you're going to see.
Well, turn back into a solid.
Okay, so this is a year 4 class, grade 3, and they just started learning about the water cycle. And they are in an immersive experience where they see all the stages of the water cycle in one kind of big space. And they see those little particles turning from water into gas. And their instinct is to reach out and try to grab it. That's why all the hand motion. Okay, so they're interacting with the scene around them, even though it is not an interactive scene. There's moving parts, you can move around, but you can't interact with elements, but yet they're trying to interact with them. And that was really cool to see. Okay, second one. You guys are safe. You did well. Okay, this time you need to decide what would be the content knowledge. Okay, so it's immersive storytelling with some kind of a VR recreation or virtual environment, Okay, so VR of a virtual environment immersive storytelling is the pedagogy, what would be the content? The context is a year 7 English class, creative writing. 1 minute. We're going to pick on that table at the back. The cool kids at the back, so. Talk.
Twisted, we did like twisted fairy tale. Take a fairy tale and then you change the component of it.
I like that. I heard twisted fairy tales. I like that. All right, we're quieting down. Yep, table at the back. Cool kids.
And we said, well, historical fiction, if you're actually able to immerse them in historical time periods where they get their ideas. We talked about potentially like doing a twisted take on literature, so where they're getting ideas from a historical time frame and then updating it for modern times or the future. We talked about maybe Greek or fantasy settings, to really get them involved. So yeah, I mean, you could, like geography, looking at what a setting is, and then getting them visualizing that for their story. I mean, there's countless things.
I love it. So, like, just hearing you talk, and I imagine the kids in VR, right? And you can project what they see to the rest of the class. So they're literally in that space, walking around while telling the story of the person and what they see. That's insane. That's huge. I love it. These were not planned, like literally ChatGPT generated. So all of the ideas I'm gonna steal and do it myself in my school. So thank you. Okay, another video. Tell you the context after you watch. Okay, write it down and then go back in. Asian, A-T-I-O-N. Every teacher is an English teacher. This is another junior school class where they were also learning a topic lesson, so something in science, and we used the VR for vocabulary. So their task was to go into the experience and try to find as many elements that relate to what they've learned in that experience, and as they see it, they had to write it down. So they were in and out from VR every few seconds, which is great because you don't want to stay for more than a few minutes in. You start getting a little bit dizzy, or like you just get, it's boring, right? So if you design the learning experience in a way that it's in and out, there's always pauses, and then you hook them in and they want to go back to it. And it was also gamified because we played a knockout game of which table has the most words. So after they finished collecting that like 5 minutes and write it down on their tables, we went table by table to see which one is the last table standing, and they got some value points. So it's, again, the pedagogy was driving that experience that in another setting could have been a whole experience. All right, you must hate me by now. I'm sorry. I should have changed the name. Okay, next one, Year 9 Science, Biology. The tech is an AR app overlaying the human body. The content knowledge is anatomy. What pedagogy would you use? Talk. 1 minute. Arlene's table.
Well, you end up like you might, you can spin it in a lot of ways, but it might be, but it might be fun to maybe do it like kind of a role playing where you have, you know, if you can overlay it onto a body or show the body, you could maybe have an unhealthy body.
Okay.
And then you have the patient, and you have the family, and you have the doctor, and
Love it.
you know, they can talk about that.
So
and
role play it.
exactly.
Yeah, that's great. Year 9? Yeah. Yeah, kids are kids. Thank you so much. This is great. Another quick video. Tell you the context. You know what? Let's see if you can guess the context. You don't have anything to learn by except for kids, so that would be hard. So this is a year 3 class, grade 2, and this is the hook lesson. They're about to learn about woolly mammoth, and they were holding a skeleton of the mammoth in their hand, and they were rotating it and looking at the structure of the bones, and they have no idea what it is because they haven't learned yet. So it was really a hook lesson to get them excited. People start shouting, "Big elephant!" or whatever it is. That was all the teacher wanted, a quick hook. Okay, last one. Context, year 1, kindergarten. Okay, these are kindergarten kids. Mathematics. Pedagogy, game-based learning. And the content is basic addition and subtraction. What tech would you use? Okay, 1 minute. Game-based learning, addition and subtraction. It's okay, sorry. Not eavesdropping. Maybe I am.
And if it's possible.
We see like this, because as well, I just answer questions and build up your team, build out your skills.
Okay, can I hear from the table at the back? Can someone share with me? You guys, Hongjaman? Can someone share, what's your, what tech would you use for this? You can answer in Chinese. Not sure?
Still need some discussion.
Okay, that's fine. You guys?
We're talking about using, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? I'm really kind of scary.
We're talking about how, because they're still very concrete at that age, so just still learning how to add and subtract 1 more, 1 less kind of thing, 10 more, 10 less. So instead of using like a physical counter, it could be a virtual counter. We also talked about using quizzes and things. There's lots of them. There's lots online. Yeah.
Absolutely. Love it. Again, I did not come up with it. Okay, I'm not very imaginative. So I use generative AI for all of my creative ideas. But for me, raise your hand if you have Osmo products in your school. Oh yeah. Okay, so Osmo is literally this. Osmo solves all your problems. I spend half of my annual budget on Osmo, okay? And that's, look it up. It's so good, okay? Because it's really physical manipulative that uses your simple iPad with a reflective mirror, and then it can see the surface in front of the iPad. You can move things around to interact with the app. So kids can do super simple addition and subtraction just by moving blocks, like you said, but in a physical way, but interacting with an app that gives them that gamification. So yeah, great. Another video.
你玩不会让你的移动这个，你让移动这个来控制你的地 个，爱看字。我有魔法书，这是如果你不来魔法书，你就别不好了。我给你发现
Okay, so it's the same class as before with the cubes, but this time they are in a cave, in a prehistoric cave, and they're exploring the scene, and only if they walk far enough. Again, it's a hook, so no instructions were given. They only got basic safety instructions. Don't stand up. Use, when you hold the VR headset, use it with 2 hands. Okay? Don't throw it. All the basics, right? And then they start. I was actually impressed because I thought that they will not figure out the joystick. Okay? I was worried that they might not figure it out. And the reason is because when I use it with older kids, some of them were holding it with 2 hands, another one was like doing a weird 2-hand thing, clearly did not gain enough. Since we took the joystick all the way to nursery, so 3-year-olds are using it and they use it really well. So yeah, so they're exploring a cave, trying to find a mammoth outside. Again, big elephant, they don't know what a mammoth is. Okay, last one, sorry. Definitely last one. VR architectural tour, sorry, okay? And the content knowledge is green building, so biomimicry or so, green building principles and materials. It's a year 11 DT class. Okay, so it's a tech class, unit is on architecture, the teacher wants to bring VR. Okay? These are your pole moments, where the teacher knows what he wants to teach, and he knows the tech, and you need to suggest what will be a good pedagogy or work with them to sort it out. I promise it's the last one. 1 minute. This is going to your table, Amelia, so you better talk.
You decided that you can attach those.
Yeah? Okay. Amelia's table. I love it. This is just like a classroom, right? No, yes. Do you have an idea? Would you like to share? There's no bad answer. Only the silence.
就是通过 VR 观察不同的建筑模式，就是不同的建筑材料，然后让他们进行了解，然后通过 VR 来就是实际的认识，能够就是通过 VR 就是实际就是认识到每种材料它的特点和形状，然后进行修改。
So he said he wants to let the student to discover or find a different type of material of each architecture and through VR, and to learn and discover different shape of the architecture.
Love it. Like a treasure hunt.
Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be some kind of a treasure hunt or a virtual museum tour or whatever you want to call it, right? Great, you can do that. You can do a perspective drawing activity. where they experience it from different angles and try to sketch it from different angles, because it is an architectural unit. Yeah, so many ideas. Same content, same tech, so many different ways of using it. My last video for you. One of my best examples that I used, and I know Victor knows it already and Amelia as well, but I'm going to share it because it's really, really authentic use of VR. It was actually in a different class, but I don't have a video of it, I don't have a photo, it just happened. And it was not me. I take zero credit for it. It was the classroom teacher. It's a year 2 class, so grade 1, 6 to 7-year-old kids, and they were learning about biomes, okay, different biomes. And the teacher said, hey, let's do VR. Let them see the biomes. I'm like, great idea. Do you have anything specific in mind? Do you want to? I didn't even need to talk. She's like, I know exactly what I'm going to do. So she got the content and the technology, and I was there to try to help her with the pedagogy. She didn't need it. She's like, I'm going to divide them into groups of 3. Okay, triads. Only 1 headset per 3. 1 kid will be in the biome. And don't you dare show them what they see. Okay, so nothing on the screen. 1 kid in the biome, and they have to use descriptive language. Adjectives that we just learned, English standards. Okay, to explain what they see. I see a fish. What kind of fish? Colorful fish, pretty fish, green fish, whatever it is, right? The other kid has to write it down. Okay, and the 3rd kid has to draw the scene. And every 2 minutes they rotate. Love it. Authentic, amazing, they take turns, and they're so curious because they see their friend in VR. They have no idea what she sees or he sees, they only hear it. So 1 kid is practicing speaking, the other one is practicing listening, writing, drawing the scene. Okay, so that was really one of my big wow moments. Okay, and you'll pick those up. It doesn't need to come from you, it needs to come from the teachers. Speaking of which, it's great to sit down here and play around with TPACK, but our day-to-day context is having those corridor talks, right? Someone's like, hey, yeah, I want to use VR. And you're like, okay, what do you do? So as an EdTech coach or as an IT personnel, how do you make sure that the way they use it is authentic? So we're going to role play. Can I have 2 volunteers? Yes, come on, Arlene. 1 more, please. You get to choose teacher or coach. Because you're first, coach. We just need a teacher. It's an easy one. You need to play yourself. Anyone? Come on. This stands between you and break. If you need an incentive. Any teacher? Yes. Thank you. Come on. What's your name, sorry?
Petra.
Petra. Okay. Center stage. I'll give you the context in a second. Okay. Right. Your context is. Ooh, it's funny. Here we go. Year 1 teacher, Petra, wants to introduce students to the concept of marine life using VR to create a virtual underwater experience. So you know the tech, Arlene, and you know the content knowledge. So walk her through that conversation.
So I know the tech, I know the content knowledge as well.
That's what she told you. So this came from Petra.
So what is it that you want out of the experience that you're not getting it in the everyday classroom? So we're trying to find the differences here, because if we want to bring it in an authentic way, it has to be something over and above what you could do without the VR technology. So we're looking to leverage what only VR technology can give us.
Okay, wait, so can we get back to
This is you.
So
You went to Arlene and you said, like, I teach year 1. I'm about to teach my kids about the marine life.
Yeah.
And I heard we got new VR headsets.
Okay.
Can I use them?
Okay.
And then Arlene is then like, okay, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Can I remember my questions? So we, to really get the best out of the VR, the pedagogy that we want to use is something that we can use in the way that we can get, that you can't get in any other way. So if we could maybe discuss what you were doing in the classroom before, make sure that we're linking this to what the content knowledge that they've already learned, and then we can enrich that experience with the VR.
Okay, so far students are just learning about, you know, they've been doing presentations and learning about gathering images and things like that for under the water, what type of animals or creatures live under the water. So at the moment we've just got images, we've got an iPad that we like to use to do the research for it, and currently they're just following just simple instructions and learning from each other, group work.
Okay, so they know, do they know about the fish and the coral, or do they know about just one or the other?
They're learning about the fish using Pedagogical at the moment, so just research and how they survive.
So very young students, they're just learning the words. So maybe what we do is we create an activity then where we can actually swim them through and get them to identify what some of the fish are called, and then we could have their team members spell it down and they could take turns. So maybe split them into small groups, and then they could ask questions to each other. They could describe what they're seeing, for example, and then the other ones could maybe say, well, talk a little about the environment, you know, and its relation to coral, for example. What does that sound like? I mean, how many kids are in your class?
We have 18 kids.
Okay, so what do you think about that?
Yeah, I like it. I'd also like to know, you know, so you'd say using VR, right? In groups.
Yeah, but not all of the time, because they're very young. We don't want them in there for too long.
Okay.
So we're trying to give them an experience, but not too long. And year one, their attention span is very short, and they're all going to be clamoring to be inside the headsets, you know, at the same time.
So how would I get them on VR to actually retain what they're learning using the VR headsets?
So that could be, after they sit, then they'd be writing it down and then they explain it, and then you could extend that later on to them drawing what they've seen as well, and then talking about how that applies to the knowledge they've already learned, and what additional things they may have learned by being inside the water.
I think it will also be helpful for them to see visually what it looks like as well, right?
So you want to maybe project what they're seeing on the headsets onto the wider screen?
No, just like in their small groups, they can visually see what they've been learning as well, right?
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Yay, thank you so much. Bravery points. Thank you. Good news and bad news. Bad news is I have 2 more of those. Good news, I'm not going to make you go through it. What I want to mention is that you will still, and I still have teachers who would not go through this process. They're like, it just won't be ours. What? How? No, just bring it in. Do you want me to sit down? No, just come and do it. Prepare a playlist with blah, 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 and then come and bring it. And I'm there, and I'm in the class with that teacher. And the kids are in VR, and like the first couple of minutes are great. You get those like, whoa, this is cool, walking around. And then when the experience finished, the teacher just goes back to teaching. Absolutely no connection between what they just did to the rest of the lesson. Okay, and it's not really good use of VR. Next time we bring it to that class, kids will not be excited to put it on at all. So yeah, these are not easy conversations to have, depending on the person, of course. But yeah, if you have a good rapport with your teachers, with your staff, then you can make some amazing stuff. Right, skip, 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 skip. Okay, one last one. So I started with 2 of those orange luggages a couple of years ago, which is 16 in total, and because that's all I had money for. But then because of how well it was used, and the fact that every teacher was like, wait, we don't have enough for every kid? We don't have enough for every kid? So like, okay, I'll buy another one. So this year, last year, I bought another one. So now we have 3 sets, which is 24. with the cubes, with the handheld devices, which is enough for any classroom. Okay? So we can do, and we do full class activities, and it works perfectly, very easy, very effortlessly. Okay. So this is how it looks like when I need to move it. Okay? Now don't get me wrong, the cases are amazing. They have a little handle, little luggage trolley, but I'm one if I'm going by myself, and there's 3 of them and 2 boxes, so it's not really feasible. So I sometimes do it like once, twice, 3 times, or if I can't be bothered and I need to go in one go, this is how it looks like. Chair on wheels, 3 cases, 2 boxes. So I want to introduce the V-trolley. Okay? I've designed it literally 2 weeks ago. Okay? This, and it's just a hack, so for schools here who are going to invest in ClassVR or VR in total, it's a very simple charging shelves. So the bottom part has the cubes and the handheld devices, and each floor can hold up to 12 headsets, okay, just in case if you're going to expand even more. And it has holes for the electricity and everything. Metal frame, wooden shelf. If anyone wants the design, you don't need to take a picture, Alex. You just ask me and I'll send it to you. Okay? Sharing is caring. Okay, any questions? Yo, buen tema. Mayo. Okay, so connect, reach out. I'm happy to send you anything you need to get you started if you are going to go ahead with ClassVR. We love it. We're not even thinking about investing in a high-end individual headsets because of all the reasons I mentioned at the beginning, but also we don't have the space for them. So if you are going to invest in ClassVR, do reach out. I'm happy to share. Now, I have a request from Victor. You want me to put the last slide now?